This is television for the Isles of Scilly, brought to you with Worldwide Financial Planning, Truro and Penwith College, and the Scilly Lottery. From Radio Scilly, this is scillytv.com.
It's something that Radio Scilly started, talking about the co-op shelves being empty when the Green Wreath did sale some weeks ago, and I can't remember who it was on Radio Scilly contacted me and said, why don't you supply the co-op with bread? And I said, well, we have approached them before, but nothing's come of it. And I think that, I know then that Radio Scilly contacted co-op head office and said, doesn't the co-op support local producers? In which they said, oh yes we do. so they dropped in the lap of a buyer who came down here a few weeks ago, and we had to, from scratch, bake our whole product range for him to come and sample and nibble and sniff at, and etc. And he was intrigued. He loved it. And
when you say whole product range,
product range.
How many items did you hand up? Because you couriered this to him, didn't you?
Well, we had to do that this week because he was so enthused about our product that he went to the owner of the company called Enterprise Foods, which supplied £49 million worth of bakery produce to the co-op nationwide. He went back to the owner of Enterprise Foods, told him the story, and the owner said, oh, I'd like to try some of that stuff. So a second time we had to produce, again, probably about 40 products within 2 days. I'm talking cakes, pasties, pizzas, quiches, croissant, flapjacks, millionaire shortbread, and of course a full range of bread, rolls, sourdoughs, and then package it up, label it, get it from here on a boat in certain areas into island taxis to the heliport, onto a helicopter to Penzance, and then DHL up to Manchester to Matey Boy so he could have a little taste.
So he could sit there in a room and trough his way through your produce, and give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
Yeah, and we got a thumbs up. Yeah.
So what does that mean for you as a business?
Well, it's going to mean an incredible thing because, at the moment we're a very seasonal business, so we tend to close the bakery in October, and I know we did our courses in November and then sort of February, March, but largely we are at the moment currently operating on only about 53% sort of occupancy, if you know what I mean. Yeah. What this will mean, it'll be incredibly hard for us in July and August when we're busy anyway. But we just have to run with that and staff it up a bit more. But this will also mean an all-year-round income because, obviously there are 1,500 residents on St Mary's and on the outer islands as well that shop on a Thursday in the co-op. So it should bring in a bit more of a regular income for us. And my night baker, Barney, who doesn't work for several weeks of the winter, will now have an income. So as far as the business is concerned, it's a great lifeline really, and it's taken a lot of hoops to jump through to get to this point. A lot of bureaucracy and
red tape,
certain conditions of production we've got to adhere to. It's more of a sort of it's like being checked out by an environmental health officer, but one step above that. And also there's all of the bureaucracy of the paperwork and the invoicing and the documentation, labelling. I've had to buy a barcode label. We've got to put ingredients on there, best before dates, traceability, all sorts of things. So it's a bit of a nightmare, but it's going to be.
You say it's a bit of a nightmare, but. You seem to me as to be a bit of an entrepreneur, shall we say?
Well, I try to be, but it's hard to make money in the Isles of Scilly, when you're on it for 6 months a year, which is why we did the bakery courses, which are great, but as any business out there knows, it is a struggle. We have, it's from rags to riches. In the winter everyone's poor, no one has any money in their pockets, everything is on tick, and overdraft, and in the summer, we're all walking around with like £20 notes thinking, well, for us on St Martin's, how on earth can I get this money to the bank physically,
So also, that's going to be massive for you now, business-wise.
Hopefully,
Give it 12 months. Is that the sort of thought you've got? See what happens in 12 months and then see whether to enlarge the premises maybe and get more interest?
Yeah, there's a couple of other things I want to do,
Oh, you don't surprise me, but carry on.
as you know, I've written one book which I'm quite proud of actually, and
The Island Ingredient.
The Island Ingredients, indeed, yeah. So I'm sort of halfway through book 2, so that's a little project I've got. It's book 2. I want to make more of a diary of St Martin's over a year, my diary over a year with seasonal recipes in there. So that's a little back burner project I've got. And also with Mark Prager of Ales of Scilly, he's bought a bottling and carbonating plant, and I want to sell and carbonate and bottle my Toby's Cornish lemonade. So that's another project. So I sort of came over here to get away from the rat race, and I've created my own really. But I do enjoy it. I'm not the sort of guy that could just sit on the beach for a few hours.
When can we expect to see your bread and your cakes and everything that you serve here on the shelves in the co-op?
We're not going to make Easter yet. There's quite a lot of other bureaucracy we've got to go through. So it's going to be about 5 weeks from now. So we're just going to miss Easter. It'll be after Easter, unfortunately. So hopefully the gig weekend, it'd be nice to get it in there for the gig weekend. All those hungry rowers chomping on my wonderful bread and rolls. Well, Barney's wonderful bread and rolls that he bakes. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I think this is the way forward, I think, for other businesses within the islands, because we've got so many fantastic producers of fudges, ice cream, meats, vegetables, essential oils, soaps. Because
this could actually initially spread to the other businesses, like you say, and they can approach the co-op themselves.
Yeah.
The buyer comes and sees them, and likewise end up in the same position that you're in.
Yeah, well, I really hope so, because the co-op have shown themselves amenable to the idea of supporting local business. So I think now is the opportunity for everyone out there that produces good quality local products to start thinking about approaching the co-op, because we don't want all of our money exported to producers on the mainland, and the co-op have to pay freight costs on top of everything to come from the mainland, which makes shopping more expensive, when they can buy fantastic local products here within the islands. And the co-op, by doing that, is ensuring the survival of businesses within the islands. So I think it's the way forward.
Toby, listen, I wish you all the best of luck, for the future. Right? You strike me as a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights at the moment with all this going on.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So no, I'm looking forward to the future really, and I think if people within the islands would like to buy our produce on St Mary's in the co-op, it would help to support us and any other producers that put their produce into the co-op as well. It would be fantastic. It's the way forward in the future for the Isles of Scilly, because businesses within the Isles of Scilly have got to support other businesses within the Isles of Scilly, rather than shipping stuff in from the mainland.
Ideally becoming self-sufficient.
Exactly, yeah. We've got plenty of fish in the sea around us, crab, lobster, there's all sorts of things that could go into the co-op.
Well, Toby, just one last question for you.
Yeah?
What do you love about Scilly?
Have you got an hour?
No.
I love being with my dogs. I love running on St Martin's, and I love putting myself into the landscape. And I feel that when I run and when I walk with the dogs and go fishing, that I become part of the landscape. And it's that love of the landscape is my great passion here. I've been on St Martin's 18 years. There's still some footpaths I haven't walked on purpose, because I don't want to make the island smaller. So, I'm saving those treats for when I'm 90.
You can't run anymore.
And I can't run anymore. My knees are giving up on me as we speak anyway. But no, I love St Martin's. I love the tranquility, the peace, the beauty, the people here, the humour that goes on here. And I wouldn't be anywhere else really, so it's a great place to live.
Toby, thank you very much.